We have, connected with Hanukkah, a beautiful custom which really is the law. It's a halacha and we follow it. We light candles each night of Hanukkah, and each night of Hanukkah we make a new blessing on the candle lighting because each night was its own miracle. And we say a beautiful blessing when we light these candles. We say, "Blessed are you, God, our God, King of the world, King of the universe, really King of all worlds. Asher she'asa nisim la'avotenu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh." So it's again, "Blessed are you, Hashem, Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam," our God, King of all universes, all worlds. She'asa nisim la'avotenu, that did miracles for our ancestors, for our forefathers. Bayamim hahem, in those days, bazman hazeh, in this time. Okay? That's the blessing we say. We say it 8 nights. I want to look at this blessing for a moment and really bring out a beautiful interpretation of hope and really a prayer in and of itself to Hashem, who is really the source of all of our hope. He is our rock, He is our salvation. And so here's the interpretation I want to bring out from the language of the blessing. We say, She'asa nisim la'avotenu, that did miracles for our ancestors, bayamim hahem, in those days. So what that means is, in the time of Hanukkah, when we fought against the Greeks and they were trying to annihilate us physically and intellectually and religiously, so Hashem did miracles for our ancestors. He did great miracles, and the few conquered the many, the weak conquered the mighty. The pshat is that God did miracles for our ancestors. In those days, right, bayamim hahem, in those days, mean the days of history, those historical days where we were fighting against our enemy. Bazman hazeh means in this time period. Okay, the simple meaning is in the month of Kislev, meaning right now we are approaching the month of Kislev in the year Tashpa. Tashpa sounds like a garbage can, but because we're taking out the garbage. This is the final years where Hashem's got to take out the garbage. How appropriate! Tashpa sounds like a garbage is an ashpa in the Hebrew. So God's got to take out the garbage, and Mashiach will come B'ezrat Hashem very soon, hopefully in this wonderful miracle month of Kislev. And so Tashpa, and the numerical value is just Pei is 85, so it's 5,785. Amazing! I love it when I get the numbers right. Anyway, so this is the wonderful year of Tashpa. So what the literal translation of this blessing means is that God did miracles for our ancestors once upon a time in those days for our ancestors, when in this Bazman Hazeh, in this time of Kislev, thousands of years ago. But what I would like to add to the way to appreciate this blessing is this. God did miracles for our ancestors once upon a time. And God also does miracles Bazman Hazeh, in this time now. Now, 2024, Kislev, 2024, Jewish people, right now, and this whole world, we are witnessing the miracles of Hashem Bazman Hazeh. And I think this is a beautiful interpretation for that blessing. When we stand up there and say the blessing, we can also have in mind, this is not a chovah, I'm not creating a halachic obligation, but I'm saying a nice thought, certainly when you give over an idea, and even, not connected with the actual lighting, but before, after, God that did miracles, amazing miracles, and we know He did them. We celebrate them every year, and they're written in our history. And those people don't make up stories; they tell only the MS. Moshe Rabbeinu saw miracles. We saw miracles when God took us out of Egypt, and we saw miracles when God saved us in the time of Chanukah against the Greeks. God that did miracles for them in those days, in the past, is doing for us miracles right now. Bazman hazeh. That's what I think when I think about Hanukkah. That the God that made the miracles for them is making miracles for us right now, miracles. Now, what kind of miracles is He making? So till now, we've seen mostly hidden miracles and some semi-revealed miracles. I mean, certainly when we were attacked by Iran twice, there's a level of miracle there that we all have to thank Hashem for. we were attacked and many people could have been hurt. And Baruch Hashem shielded us. And Hashem is shielding us right now. You know how many enemies there are? You know how much anti-Semitism is ignited? Without Hashem, like it says, a sheep cannot survive between 70 wolves. And certainly the nation of peace, P-I-E-C-E, how would we survive around 1 billion Muslims? And even if you remove the moderate ones, or the even extremely moderate ones, you have radical Islamic jihad Muslim people and nations that would love to see us disappear. And not just like by snapping their finger, because they want to actually kill us. They want to come and get the knives and see our blood and tear us to pieces. That's what they really want. We've seen it. We know it. We don't have to assume it. We know it. If they have the chance, we know what they want to do. And so the fact that we're here is an absolute miracle. God does miracles, bazman hazeh. God is making a miracle right now that Israel is alive and sustained, despite everything that's happening in the world. So this is the kavanah of the bracha. God is making us miracles right now, especially in the month of Kislev. We have to tap into this, and we have to tap into our real protection, is Hashem. Now, I must say I'm saddened, and I'm going to make this point. What can we do to fight the battle against evil and darkness? What's the number one thing we can do? Is first of all, fight with yourself. I have this guy annoying me all the time that's next to me over here. I mentioned him before. If I'm going to fight with somebody, it's him, that guy that keeps following me. It's a joke, obviously, but no one's laughing. I feel really weird now. and I didn't mean to insult you, I'm sorry. The point is this: you want to fight with someone, fight with yourself. The sages teach us a mighty man, a real strong man, a real king is a man that knows how to conquer himself, conquer the evil within. You want to see a beautiful world? Create a beautiful you within. You'll see a much more beautiful world, regardless of how it looks, because it all starts with you. So first of all, we have to know that spread light, spread goodness, spread love starts with yourself. And the only enemy that you have to fight at the first battle is the battle within you, the evil within you. Once you get rid of that, now you're in a much better position. Now, what about the world at large? So I think, unfortunately, the Jewish people are their own enemies, their worst enemies. Because, think about it. Little things, we're not looking at big things. We're not talking about nuclear explosions. We're talking about little things that we miss. And I'll share with you an example. Maybe made up, whatever, but like this. This is the type of an example. We want God's compassion. We want God to overlook our flaws, our mistakes, and we want God to save us. Well, what are we doing to help facilitate that? Right now, Israel, and again, it's only a reflection of the greater world, the bigger world, Israel is about to explode from inner conflict. Espionage, conspiracies, the left against the right, the Haredi against the Haredi, where Yusuf. It's insane. We are going to self-destruct if we continue in this direction. When we fight with each other over stupidity, over who's right, who's wrong, you not like me, I'm not like you. So the worst thing and our biggest flaw right now today is not how religious we are. That's not the biggest problem. I'm not saying that we should all go to the beach and have a nasty plunge. I'm not saying we should all go to the beach and have a party. We have to know that we're here for a purpose. We have to enjoy our lives. We have to have a purposeful life and accomplish what God put us here to accomplish. We have to know Hashem. We have to do what Hashem wants, and we have to be real Jews. But the level of religiosity today, I don't think is what's going to cause or not cause the destruction. God's going to be on our side when we're on our side. When we are for our fellow, even though he's the opposite of me, even though he represents the opposite of what I represent. Despite all that, I say, but he's my brother. He's one of me. I'm one. We're one. You're hating yourself. That's what you're doing. You're hating yourself. You're cutting your own hand off, your own fingers off. Who would do that? Only an insane person. What makes a person insane? Hate. The feeling that person is my enemy. So you think you're cutting off. You think you're cutting off your enemy. You're cutting off your left hand. You're cutting off your right hand. We are not each other's enemy. There are people that are less confused, more confused, think they're right, know they're right. Above all that matters, when a parent walks into a room and the kids are fighting and the kids are hurting each other and the kids are screaming and it's a mess, the first thing and only thing that parent wants is one thing: stop. Stop. Who's right, who's wrong, who started it, who's ending it, all that is secondary. The only thing that matters is one thing: stop. And it's not our job to blame the people fighting. He started, I started. That's not what the parent wants to hear, and that's not what Hashem wants to hear. Hashem wants to hear one thing: Hashem, we stopped. We're not fighting anymore. And there are sources for this all over the Torah. I'm not here to come and give you an encyclopedia type of class, but it's very clear, even in the times of the most wicked kings in Israel, when there was unity, God protected us more than we were righteous. When we were righteous in the times of the righteous kings and we fought our enemies, God protected us less when there was disunity, when there was quarreling and fighting and hate between each other, even though we were righteous, much more righteous. He protected us less, and more of the soldiers died. When there was unity and love and acceptance, even though we were wicked, tremendously more wicked, God protected our lives more, and that means something. It's a very important point. Today, you want to help protect your child, then look at your neighbor's child as your child. When we look at each other as one unit with love and acceptance and tolerance, regardless of the evils we believe and feel that the other person is partaking of, and how dare you be on the right side, how dare you be on the left side? Well, listen, I don't know how you can argue with somebody on the right side. He's on the right side after all. I don't see what the point is. I never understood this, being against the right side. The right means the right side, right? Just kidding. He's looking at me like, have I lost it? Yeah. In Hanukkah, it's nothing new. In the time of Hanukkah, we had the same war going on. There was a war between Jew and Jew, not only between Jew and Greek. Here, very similar to right now. There's a war between Jew and Jew, and as a result, manifests is also a war between our external enemies and the Jewish nation, the Jewish people. That is exactly what happened in Hanukkah. Hanukkah, there was a civil war, a civil split in ideology. There were Hellenists, which we could equate to basically secularism today. The idea of this American way, a secular continuation of Greek and American and European philosophy, and the idea of a melting pot system and all this extreme freedom. That's what they were fighting for in the time of Hanukkah. Literally, it's in the history books. It's in the Chazal mention it. The Hellenists were killing. What they felt were backwards, prehistoric Jewish stubborn people that wouldn't let go of a Jewish tradition. They were bringing them to the Greek government to kill. They were killing them themselves. There was a terrible, disgusting civil war between Jews. And then there was as a result, there was also a war against the Greeks. There were two things happening at the same time. And so let's appreciate. Hanukkah is happening right now. 2024 is Hanukkah. Because the civil war between the Jews right now, in Israel and abroad, this is the real war. This is the real problem. Because as we said, the Bible tells us, the prophets tell us, the Chachamim tell us, when we get along, Hashem protects all of us. Hashem wants all his children safe, not one of them, not part of them. He wants all of his children safe. But when we're divided, then he has, for some reason, he says, I can't protect you all now because you're divided. When we're hating each other and wanting to unfortunately cancel each other, and God forbid, thank God in this day and age, the 2024 version, nobody's killing each other. But when we're in this condition, Hashem says, I'm not going to protect you the same way that if you make peace. When we get along, like in Hanukkah, well, no, Hanukkah not, but when we see from the Chazal that when we do get along, Hashem protects us, so he will protect us now. So the problem today is the problem of Hanukkah. That civil war is a continuing civil war. The secular Jew versus the more religious Jew. And again, what's the solution? So if you're on either side, you think the solution is, so we all have to become secular. If you're on the religious side, you think the solution is we all have to become religious. That's wrong. And it's also impossible, whether it's right or wrong, it's impossible. That cannot be the solution to gain God's favor and protection right now. Because we're not going to convince every single secular Jew to become religious today. And we're not going to convince every single religious Jew today to become irreligious. It's just not going to happen. So how do we bring Hashem into our lives, and how do we gain His protection and His acceptance right now? The answer is to accept each other the way they are. Right now. That's the solution. That is the secret solution, is to accept them unconditionally right now the way they are. And stop cutting off your right and left hand. That's the solution. Because, as soon as we do that, it says, Kamayim hapanim lapanim kein lev adam la'adam. That pasuk really means the way we treat each other is the way God will treat us. Because the second reference of Adam in that pasuk is really talking about God in this high place in heaven that we're created in the likeness of God. This Adam that's created in the likeness of a spiritual likeness, and it's on that level that Hashem will then take care of us. It's a deep Kabbalistic concept. I don't want to confuse anybody with just giving you a one-liner, but that's what's going on. And so the solution and the remedy for our safety and protection and to see miracles in our lives right now in Hanukkah 2024, right now in Bazman Hazeh, to see Hashem's miracles, is to accept every single one of our brothers and sisters the way they are, as they are, no conditions. And it's only from that point that we can start to heal and recover and bring the positive results that we all want and are praying for. That is the way. Because the other way is just impossible. It is impossible. So that's it. That's the solution. I don't want to overdo it, but everyone understand the beautiful chiddush. When we look at our fellow without condition and accept him, then Hashem will look at us without condition and accept us. That is the way to redemption. The way of fighting is another Hanukkah. It's just another Hanukkah, a civil war, killing each other. Yeah, in the end, Hashem's going to do what he does, but if we want to merit as the Klal Yisrael for the ultimate redemption, the Mashiach redemption, and that we shouldn't have to hear another story of a soldier dying, of a person being attacked somewhere around the world because he had a Jewish star on his face, or rocks were thrown at him. It all will and can end when we stop fighting with ourselves. That's it.